Dear girlies, welcome to the fourth episode of the Notes to Her podcast with your host, Rianne. We're back with our fourth episode, girlies. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in every week so far since I've launched the podcast. And yeah, every week, 7 p.m. on a Friday, the girlies are here. We're crowded, we're gathered because we're wanting to learn and develop ourselves and grow. And I love that. So welcome. I can't believe it's the fourth week. I'm astounded and baffled that the year is practically almost done. We're now in October and yeah, I can't believe it. What? Like, where is the year gone? The nights are getting longer. The days are just shorter. And yeah, we're practically in winter. Girlies, what's going on? What's going on? But as always, thankful to be here. Thankful to have seen 2025 up until this time. But yeah, I'm baffled. I'm really baffled. Anyway, how has everyone's week been? What have you been up to? Have you done anything new? Has it just been work? Have you gone on holiday? Have you tried a new recipe? And like, what's going on? How have you been? What have you girlies been up to? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. As always, I will do a reflection of my week. I feel like it's been a lot quieter this week. I feel like I haven't been up to much per se. I mean, one thing, as always, that's like a highlight is roller skating. So I'm really pleased to say that I've actually signed up to the 6-week course and now learning how to roller skate. So last Wednesday was my second, even though it was the first actual session of the 6-week course, it was my second time roller skating. And I'm really pleased that I've signed up and I can already see that I made progress as well. So I was still a little bit fearful, and there was a time where I fell and accidentally hit a woman next to me. I felt so bad. I literally felt, and we both ended up falling. It was horrendous, and I felt awful. I felt so bad. But other than that, there was no accidents, and I was learning how to actually do a plow stop. I learned how to skate on one foot. And I say that I tried to do it and it was just a bit like, oh, I can just about do the 2 feet. So now doing 1 foot is 1 foot. It's a bit much. I've only just caught up. So we'll master that eventually. But yeah, I was picking up speed as well, like going around the court. So I'm really pleased with the bit of progress that I've made in comparison to the first time ever doing roller skating. And so yeah, I've started going back to the gym as well. And so moving my body has been really great. It's been nice to kind of like have like a nice release because, you know, when you are working from home or you just work in an office, like you just tend to just sit there majority of the day. And so it's really nice to get the body moving again, get those endorphins going and all those other chemicals and everything as well. So it's been really great and I've actually really enjoyed that. And it made me realize as well how much I've missed it too. So girlies, we're locking in. We're really locking in. I also would have done a step class by this point as well. So I just booked that. So we'll see how that goes as well. Tune into episode 5 and I'll give my review then. But yeah, those are some highlights. So going into the fourth episode, I'm going to name it Talk the Talk. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about how we talk to ourselves. When I was, planning this episode, I just had so much that I wanted to say. And when your mind is racing and your mind is whirling and you just be like, oh yeah, I need to say this and I want to say this. And yeah, I'm really passionate about, bringing these things to the surface. And that's what this whole podcast is about, is to learn and to grow and to, get uncomfortable and heal and develop ourselves basically and become the girls that we want to be, the women that we want to be. And so, yeah, talk the talk. Watch how we talk to ourselves. Starting with that, I think that comes in all forms. I'm definitely someone that can be really, really harsh on myself. I have a very loud inner critic in me. And I think over time, I've given it so much energy because that's what we do, right? In anything that we do, we give it energy. And I've given it so much energy and kind of ended up unknowingly like pouring into it that sometimes it can be overwhelmingly loud that there's almost no other way to hear anything else in my mind. And so we need to understand and really tap into how we talk to ourselves. That comes in all different forms. that comes in those jokes that we say about ourselves, that comes in things such as, I'm so stupid, I'm an idiot. Like, even if it's something so minuscule of like, you've burnt yourself, oh, I'm such a fool, or you've smashed a glass or something like that, oh, I'm such an idiot. I think those things over time, you're just saying it, right? You don't even think of it. It becomes so like just natural to say, but words have power, they have meaning. I definitely feel like once you say things, you're almost affirming it and manifesting it. And over time, subconsciously, that's definitely something that you'll begin to believe, and it will fester into something so much bigger. You may end up eventually facing a big challenge in your life, Those little things that you say over time, they grow. They become bigger. They're not just small little things that disappear. They are something that can fester and definitely delve within your subconscious as well. And so, yeah, that comes in the jokes that we say about ourselves, of just those like little self-depreciating things. And I feel like is definitely something that is trying to almost protect you in a way. It's like almost like a defense mechanism, right? In a way. So it makes us hurt a little bit less. And I say hurt in quotation marks. It's us doing it so it kind of softens the blow, because if anyone else was thinking it then, or was to say it to you, it would feel a bit like, oh, but if I say it to myself, then I'm not going to take it as any hurt. Like, I feel like I know for myself sometimes, like that's how I kind of like think it. I've learned and developed the self-awareness to think like, why do I talk negatively about myself? And it has come down to that, me trying to protect myself before someone else may say it, or before I think someone else may say it, or I think that's what someone else is going to think. So I would rather say it to myself, right? It's me trying to protect myself, quote unquote, in a way. It's my defense mechanism. And so when we're having these inner critics and, talking really badly to ourselves and about ourselves, in a way, they're very, very harsh things. But then it's also you trying to protect yourself because of whatever may have happened in, childhood, or, as you've grown up. Those things then become almost second nature to continue to say to yourself. And you may just pick it up from, the type of environment that you're in, and that the people that you are around, if they're the type of person to also talk very badly about themselves, then I think sometimes that can rub off, and you don't begin to realize it, to be honest with you, until time has passed and you're like, oh, and you gain that self-awareness and you're just like, oh, why am I talking so harshly about myself? And so that's definitely something I wanted to touch upon. There's different reasonings as to why we do it as well. I think as well, it can come down to things from childhood. I think childhood definitely plays a big part in everyone's adulthood, right? What people experience as a child bleeds into their adolescent years, into their teenage years, their adult years, and so on and so forth. I mean, there's nothing older than adult really, but you get what I mean. And so if it's something where you've had, experience as a child from people who, really critique you on anything that you do, then that also plays a massive role in, your development and how you view yourself, and the critic in you as well. So, yeah, like I said, the way that we talk to ourselves is important. And when it's something where you're constantly criticizing yourself, it comes in the form of negative jokes. It comes in the form of the criticism. I'm a failure. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't deserve to be doing XYZ. Everyone's going to laugh at me, blah, blah, blah. And those things are detrimental. They're so detrimental to our well-being, our mental health, how we view ourselves. It makes us not have confidence in ourselves. Shout out to the Growing in Confidence episode. It makes us not have any self-esteem in ourselves as well. It makes us end up being meek. We don't view ourselves to be anyone. We don't view ourselves to be a somebody, We end up having an expectation of ourselves and putting pressure on ourselves as well. Let me give a definition about what self-depreciation and negative talk is, because I feel like that will really help kind of gain a bit more of an understanding then as well. So I should have done this at the start, but that's okay. So negative self-talk is an inner voice that constantly criticizes, judges, and belittles you, undermining your self-confidence and often being unfounded, harsh, and demotivating. It's a pattern of pessimistic, mean-spirited, or unfairly critical thoughts that can negatively affect your mental health, leading to stress, anxiety, and low motivation. That's what negative self-talk is. And self-depreciation, I feel like they're a bit similar, but yeah, I'll give a definition of that. I feel like self-depreciation usually comes in, for example, like jokes. Yeah. So self-depreciation is the act of undervaluing, belittling, or expressing excessive modesty about oneself, often through humor. It can serve as a means to appear more agreeable, foster connection by seeming humble, or make one seem more relatable. While it can be a positive social tool, excessive or insincere self-depreciation may also stem from or lead to issues with self-esteem and negative self-talk. I know I'm someone that is a perfectionist. I love control. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I put high expectations on myself. And so if I don't get something right the first time, or I'm not able to pick something up straight away, I know that that inner critic is the first one that if there is a door, the critic is the first one, like, hello, open up, girl, like literally. And it will come in so many different forms and so many different ways and so many different things like circling in your brain. That has an impact. You're saying that for a reason, because you actually believe that, even if that's in a joke or if that's a genuine belief within yourself. I feel like it's one of those things that when you continuously put energy into, because that is what it is, right? Like I said earlier, it is something where you're constantly thinking those things. And so you're using up the energy that you have by feeding into that. And then that becomes your belief. And then that can end up becoming your core belief, bleed into your self-conscious, and then, yeah, reduce your self-esteem, your self-confidence as well. And you don't view yourself worthy of anything. And even me saying this now, I'm rebuking it because I don't want to claim any of those things. And words have power, they have meaning. And when you affirm those things and you say those things out loud and you say it to yourself, it's almost like you're cementing that in place. And we don't want that. And I don't want that for myself or for you girlies either. Also, as well, just watching how we talk to ourselves, because there's things that are already put against us as women, and barriers and blockages and, so many different things that are put against us as women, especially in this society. And so when, we continuously talk negatively to ourselves and criticize ourselves and, feed into that and lean into it because it's comfortable, right? That's just something that we know. It's become our default. It's become our habit. There are so many things put against us. Why would we want to continue putting our own selves also against us when we're meant to be fighting for ourselves and giving ourselves grace and learning from our mistakes and growing from that and growing from our failures that we may make in life, that we will make in life, because that is life. We shouldn't be adding more barriers to the barriers that are already there because we're women. Don't be your own barrier. Yeah, I definitely wanted to emphasize on that. I haven't unlocked ways to douse the negative self-talk and the self-depreciation. I think it's just become something where I've tried to shift the mindset now for it. It's still there. It's just not as loud. It's just not as prominent. I try not to give it as much energy, I feel. Or I just don't even, really much acknowledge it. It's there and it's okay to be there, because I don't think it's something that will ever go. But changing the perspective and mindset for it, I think, is something that definitely helps. And that isn't just about negative self-talk. I think what I'm trying to come at is, if it's something, for example, I'm going to keep using the example of failing your exam, learning from that is what I'm saying to change the mindset about. So rather than it being, I'm such a failure, I'm no good at anything, I shouldn't be this, I shouldn't be that, changing the narrative of like, okay, I failed this exam, I can feel myself these feelings. Shout out to episode 2 of knowing your emotions. I can feel these feelings, I can accept these feelings, I've identified what they are, and the negative self-talk is there, but I'm not putting energy into it. What can I learn from failing this exam? There's going to be a silver lining for something. And that, I feel like, has doused that constant criticism in the mind a little bit as well. But yeah, I will be honest, I haven't navigated that fully and focused on that to actually give advice. And that is actually okay at the moment. And when I do, I can be here and circle back. But yeah, I think as well, kind of like when there is, the constant criticism and the inner voice and everything like that, when there's something negative feeding in something positive, so affirming something positive, it's something that I've tried and maybe I just hadn't put enough effort into it. But I don't think that's something that personally worked for me. But that doesn't mean to say that it's not going to work for someone else. And so that could also be another technique or tip that someone else may want to use in case it does help them. I know for me personally, I think it's just something where I've shifted my mindset. And so that's helped me kind of release a little bit, the tiniest bit of the pressure and continuous criticism that used to kind of circle around in my brain, to be honest. And I think when you do begin to shift, that continuous negative self-talk then as well, and begin to feel more positive about yourself, and you'll begin again to grow in the confidence and your self-esteem. And again, these things take time. They're never going to be something that happens overnight. You're never going to be able to work on everything all at once either. It's just something, once you continuously put effort into it, you'll begin to realize like, oh, I've mastered this now. Like, I don't have as much of a challenge with it as I did before. So yeah, that's one aspect that I really wanted to touch on, about having that awareness of how we talk to ourselves. I think finding the root of where that comes from is super, super important, because that will help unlock certain things and also allow you to kind of gain that understanding to see, okay, where is this coming from? Do I believe these things? And if so, why do I believe these things? And can I change the narrative of this as well? Watching how we talk to ourselves as well in the form apologies. I'm so guilty of this. I think it's also a Welsh thing, saying sorry all the time. I picked up this habit. I haven't sourced where it's come from yet, but just saying sorry all the time. And I use it in a way I don't even need to apologize for. It's just become a default thing. So saying sorry, obviously, is like when I'm actually apologizing for something. If I'm in the wrong for something, or there's been a misunderstanding, miscommunication, actually using it for the reason that it needs to be used for. Tick. Yes. Saying sorry as a form of excuse me, when I could just say excuse me. Like, I don't understand. It's just like, oh, sorry, no, I can just, excuse me is okay. Saying sorry for things that I'm not even in the wrong for, you may not even be in the wrong for. Say, for example, someone's bumped you. They need to apologize, but I'm the one saying, oh, sorry. Huh? What? No. No. It shouldn't work that way. That's not, the person needs to apologize. Yeah, there's just been so many occasions where I've noted and I've said to myself, why have I said sorry? I don't need to say sorry. And then also just saying it just because it's like there's nothing else to say. It's like, again, yeah, being used for an alternative for something. Sorry, I don't mean to, can I just, but it's like, it ends up losing its actual value and meaning over time. I'm also thinking in the context, putting those kind of like boundaries in place for yourself with any person, whether it's a friend or family member, and then feeling sorry for doing that, for protecting your own mental health, protecting your own well-being, protecting your own boundary for lines that can't be crossed anymore. That's not something that you should be sorry for. And I also feel like saying sorry for something that you don't actually need to be sorry for, that isn't your fault. That's become really much a part of my vocabulary, saying things I don't need to be sorry for. And that's through whether out of fear of wanting, like, people pleasing and wanting to be perceived a certain way, or, just wanting to be liked or whatever. But then I feel like over time that then becomes something where you become meek, right? You become a little bit timid, and it's just you kind of become a bit frightened of doing certain things and for things that you don't even need to be sorry for. And so, girlies, we really need to, we're not going to know overnight and be able to do this overnight and clear that, but begin to try and navigate that and unlock those things and realize like, no, I don't actually need to be sorry for some of these things. Obviously, if things are, you're in the wrong and you take accountability and responsibility and everything like that, those things, yes, be sorry for it. Apologize for that. Yeah, definitely. And so, yeah, I got really passionate in that. Another thing as well that I really want to touch upon is definitely rephrasing the words that we use. And so, with what I mean, words have impact, as I'd said earlier on. And definitely kind of like rephrasing words that we use in certain sentences almost like kind of reframes our mind then as well. Things like using the word should. I know I'm definitely in, I've got like, oh, I should do this, and also need. I need to do this. I should do this. I have to do this. And I think in a way that definitely ends up putting some kind of like pressure on certain things, pressure on myself, pressure on certain tasks that need to be done or need to be done or could be done. And so I think definitely changing some of the words that we use makes it a bit more gentler to us and for us. And again, words have impact. So it's really important to kind of like alter it, and it will definitely shift the perspective. And so, yeah, rephrasing words such as should to could, need to would like. And I've also started like including vocabulary like navigate and explore. And I think, yeah, that kind of has allowed me to kind of see it from more of like a growth perspective as well. And it's amazing that the impact that it has. And obviously I still use the words like, oh, I need to do this. It's not going to be something, again, done overnight, but yeah, it definitely helps. And so, yeah, I think those were the main things that I really wanted to touch upon, like learn and grow and navigate on how we talk to ourselves is so important. And like I said earlier, if there's barriers that are already against us, why are we going to want to be another barrier in that against ourselves? I think I was on a well-being webinar a few months ago, and they said, change the inner critic to an inner champion instead. Be your own champion. Cheer yourself on. It makes a profound impact on how we view ourselves, how we view the world, and what other people's thoughts are about ourselves isn't our business, to be honest with you. So, girlies, we are in my new segment, Agony Aunt, where you send in your dilemmas and I try to provide some advice and be the agony aunt that some of the girlies may need. And so, yeah, if you have any dilemmas, please be sure to send some in to me via email or send me a DM with your dilemma, and I will try and pick that out and put that in an episode. And it can be anything relating to, personal development, self-growth. If you're wanting, me to talk about a specific topic as well, we can touch upon that too. Anything that you may be finding a challenge right now and wanting help to navigate. Okay, so our dilemma today is from a girly, and she has put in, so negative talk has always been a part of my life. Every little thing makes me negatively talk about myself. It can be alone or with others. It will usually be something like, I am worthless. I don't deserve to live. I'm a loser and I'll never be good at anything. These phrases just pop into my head and force me to say and think that way. It's basically uncontrollable. Every little thing will make me say and think this way, even something minor, like not being able to defeat a boss in a video game. I'll start bashing myself instantly, especially if I fail in front of someone. Let's say I die to a boss in a video game while streaming to a friend. My ranting about how bad I am and how I'm a loser must be very annoying for others, especially when they try to cheer me up to no avail, because I will just dismiss whatever they had said to me and just explain to them that I am in fact a loser and that will never change. Not only is it annoying to others, it's annoying to me. For once in my life, I would like to feel good about myself. I just don't know how to stop this negative talk. Is it possible to fail and just be okay about it? I am afraid that if I fail, people will look down on me. I just want to be good at something and feel right about myself. So with this dilemma, again, something that I'd mentioned earlier on in the episode is these things can become a habit, right? I think it can start off as something so small, for example, a joke with friends, and over time, it begins to fester, it begins to manifest into something because it's sunk into your subconscious. And so the more that you make those jokes or the more that you say those things, that kind of becomes your whole belief system. And like you said in the dilemma, you don't begin to believe them, that you just dismiss it, because in your mind everything is kind of just, well, this is how I think to myself, this is what I believe, everyone else is lying. Basically, I think it becomes something where you think people are lying then as well. It steps over into a dangerous territory because it's become an automatic thing. It's become a part of your whole belief system. And so it's become a habit to go on that default in anything that you do, like I said, in the video game, or if it's school and things like that then as well. With that habits are a choice, right? And so with these things, to put it, I don't know how to articulate this in a more gentle way, but those things then is the choosing to not to believe other people when they say the positive things about you, and that also choosing to continue to feed into that negative thought process and negative self-talk pattern as well. And then that's something where you don't realize it because, life is one of those things like, oh, I don't have a choice with some of these things. And some things we don't have control over. But things like our thought processes and our thought patterns and how we talk to ourselves, how we view ourselves, those are choices. And so continuously putting effort and energy into that negative self-talk has become a habit and therefore has become a choice as well. There may be also more to it as well. I'm not sure what your background is and anything like that. So I don't want to assume, and I don't know the circumstances either, but it's something where the choice then becomes down to you to make the decision, which you said that you don't want to do, like you don't want to have that negative self-talk anymore and you want to feel good about yourself. So that's a massive choice for you now. You would like to feel good about yourself. And so now it comes down to choosing what you feed your thought processes and how you kind of like alternate and change the negative self-talk. So how I had said about a positive affirmation when a negative thought slips up, over time the compassionate, gentler side will hopefully begin to override and overcome that thought process, and you'll begin to kind of give yourself more grace and be more compassionate to yourself as well. So also negative thought processes become something that you've affirmed in your mind too then as well. You dismissing what they say and just explaining, like you're putting the effort in to explain to them why you feel like you are a loser, or you believe that you are a loser. So again, that's become something become your belief, and taking the time to explain that to them rather than try and put the energy and effort into accepting what they're saying. It can be very difficult to do so, but that's definitely something where energy should be put into instead. Because if other people are saying it and many other people are affirming that in you, then that's a truth, that's a fact that they don't view you in that way. And again, how I was saying, it's almost you trying to protect yourself, but there's always a line, there's always a limit as to how much the negative self-talk actually protects you as a person as well. I hear you and I see you and I understand you when you say, about the failure. Like, I'm afraid that if I fail, people will look down on me. I hear that and I really see that as well. I see that because I see it in myself. I was so afraid to fail. I don't like failing. I don't like being bad at anything. But there becomes a point where you begin to accept, like, okay, can't be good at everything. You're not superwoman. You're not superhuman. No one is ever perfect. And giving yourself that understanding that it's okay to fail and learning to accept that. And so in answer to your question, it is okay to fail, and there will come a point in time where you are able to accept that failure. Once you accept it and you stop fighting it and you accept the reality of what that is, it becomes so much easier, because the energy that you're putting in to fight it and continuously not want to accept it becomes exhausting. It becomes really draining as well. When just accepting it helps you then to move on a lot more easier, move on a lot more quicker, and process other things, and then also begin to change your mindset of how you view the failure and the learnings that you can get from that then as well. Yeah, from failings, I feel like you can definitely learn, and failings will help you way more to grow and to learn than successes will. Successes will help you learn and grow, but failings will also help that. You'll know, okay, well, I tried this. It didn't work in this instance for this scenario. And so what can I learn from that? How can I move on to be able to gain a success from it? It's a part of life, and it's definitely something that no person can ever go through life without failing something once. And I'm speaking to this girly, but I'm also speaking to myself. You can't go through life without failing at something. It is genuinely how life works. And so it's about shifting the perspective, definitely, about that. Not being afraid to fail. People won't look down on you. And if anything, once you own that failure, people will actually be inspired. They'll be motivated. They won't look down. They'll be looking at you like, oh, thank you so much for being, vulnerable and being open and being, honest about the failure. What did you do to learn from it? What did you do to grow from it? Those who you feel like would look down at you, why is that? I think it's something where you have to ask yourself that question as well. And so, yeah, I feel like over time, basically, definitely give yourself some grace, definitely shift your perspective about how you view failure. And there's obviously definitely things that you are also good at too. And the more that you put effort into, shifting the narrative, shifting the mindset, you'll begin to feel good about yourself and also grow in your self-esteem and self-confidence as well. So, girlies, that was our dilemma for today's episode. Thank you. And I hope that this advice really helps. I can't believe how quick this episode has gone. We've come to the end of our episode already. Episode 4, Talk the Talk. Don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms. Notes to Her Pod. Notes to Her.pod on Instagram. Notes to Her on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on there as well. And also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And you can also follow me, Rianne Walker, but instead of the E in Walker, it's an X. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next episode. Loves ya.